not for us to thwart those who might scratch a living. Born out of blackthorns straddling ditches, we threw up our stark blooms in the unforgiving spring, grew the master's hazel switches, but found a soft spot for his mitching boy. Made hiding room, nothing if not creative. Wound rhododendrons in traveler's joy, let fuchsia from South America go native. Let them flaunt style and stigma, take their chances, scatter their seeds into our multiculture, hazard our bordered hops and crossroad dances. We back the underdog rose, shading thrush from vulture. Some of us, pruned now to inhospitable lines, embraced all comers once, flung wide our arms, grew spells for wives and witches, wove them signs. Bad cess the hawthorn, rowan against charms. Hedge schools, rebel priests, many a baggy breeches we've sheltered from bitter weather. We are unity, the thin silk that stitches the threadbare fields together. I wrote a series of 7 poems about a painting by Caravaggio that's in Naples called The 7 Acts of Mercy, or 7 Works of Mercy sometimes. And it's an incredible painting because all of the works of mercy, the traditional Catholic or Christian works of mercy, are in the one painting. They're kind of crowded together. But one of the works of mercy is sheltering the stranger. And there's a pilgrim in the painting, and I wrote a poem. One of the 7 poems is about that, so I'm going to read that one. Pilgrim, shelter me. I come from yonder or beyond. On my hat the pilgrim shell, Capasanto, holy hood. Capasanta, holy hood, or Petina di mare, little comb of the sea. I tease out your motives, disentangle prejudice from better judgment. Raise or smooth down your hackles, shelter me. I trawl coasts and borders with my scalloped edge, panning for haven, shelter me. I am the one he called the least of his brethren, with the long, thin face of Christ. I am James navigating to the field of stars, the hooded saint breaking bread, the angel incognito. I am your brother or sister, shelter me. So that's my Pilgrim poem. I thought I might read a couple of more celebratory ones as well. So this is a poem that I wrote for kind of celebrating women, I suppose, and especially the women of 1916. This is a poem I wrote for the opening of the Rosie Hackett Bridge, and it's just called Naming a Bridge. It's a sonnet. Naming a bridge. To make a bridge, you first must see the gap, then fling yourself full length across the space, like Rosie Hackett did for 60 years, the factory girl who did not know her place. Ah, Rosie knew that place and all its wrongs, the 60-hour week on the factory floor, the union badge that barred her from her work, the strike turned back upon the locked out poor. Her life's 3 struggles forged one steely frame, the fight for women, workers, and the plow. She raised a rebel banner from a roof. For workers' holidays, she raised a row. A name so nearly lost, now set in stone. To name this bridge reclaims her for her own. This is a true story, believe it or not, and it's about intolerance of people from other places. It's called Stowaways. The woman around the corner says country people are taking over Dublin. She says you can see the return tickets floating down the Liffey every Monday morning. Country people are letting on they're coming up for the weekend. Then the cute whores are stowing away, getting jobs in the newspapers, running the civil service, writing speeches for TDs, and signing grants for their relations. I think of them crouched in the leaky hold of the city, sharing a damp cabin with hard-up Dubliners, or washed up in that bedsit that made me cry. The room split in 3 with hardboard partitions like a homemade doll's house. The one window favoring the living room, the kitchen and bedroom lightless. The old landlord inviting me to sit in a chair pushed against one wall, my feet touching the blinded fireplace on the other and tears itching my eyes. For years I hoped whoever lived there had some happiness to fall back on and got out alive. The woman around the corner wouldn't trust anyone from outside Dublin. Just because they're from 2 counties away doesn't mean they're not immigrants, she says. To be honest, she's not sure about people from the north side either. But as long as they cross the river again after work, she says she's happy enough, though she never looks it. So this is called the City of Chocolate. Chocolate is a fairy tale with ugly sisters feasting at the ball and Cinderella working in the ash, with the giant thundering above the stalk and Jack and his mother going from subsistence to starvation. Chocolate is an exotic empire, a city of dark squares and bitter streets, an ancient democracy destroyed. Mayans, rich and poor, drank the dark froth till Aztecs turned their beans to currency, their farmers to slaves, their foam to an elixir. We pluck it from a shelf, unwrap the glossy paper, glitzy foil, place a tablet to melt on our tongues or snap it quickly and secretly. They pluck the ripe pods, large as melons, split and scrape, spread seeds and pulp to dry in the sun, then pack the yield too precious to be tasted. Chocolate is an ambiguous relationship, the too sweet encounter, the sharp aftertaste, too much or too little of a good thing. Alone with its dark savor, your mouth hears its own sound, a soft hum that resonates in your head and throat. Chocolate is the lexicon of exotic words. Olmec, Izapan, Mayan, Aztec, Tabasco, Yucatan, Guatemala. A sound that began with X or K, a kiss that we couldn't pronounce, a betrayal, always harvested by the poor of one place for the wealthy in another. Remember as your hand brings that exquisite square to your mouth, that some who live hand to mouth, built this delicious city. And yes, there are princes who fight dragons to set workers free, and sisters who share the spoils, and giants who tumble down. This is how the city's contours soften, how its heart expands and melts, till Jack's mythic magic beans are worth a cow, and he can enter the City of Chocolate now. This one is an old one. It was one I wrote just after 9/11, and it was in a series of sonnets about Pandora's box. As you probably know, the last thing to come out of the box when all the evils had come out was hope. So this is called Hope. And I think it's probably relevant to us now because we really need some hope, I think, these days. Hope. Out of a world struck dumb, what starts to stutter? Out of the empty box, what heart breaks, what wings flutter? For those bankrupt of dreams, what gleams in the gutter? Your stumble through the darkness has begun. I am the voice that says you can outrun this flight of evil birds across the sun. For of the ills unleashed into the air, I will not let the greatest be despair. I am the life that stirs beneath the rubble. However crushed, I will be worth your trouble. Though currents drag you to the ocean floor, I am the wave that flings you towards the shore. In the shroud's pockets, I, the precious token, the words of love, though no more words be spoken. This is a poem I wrote for children when I was working as writer in residence in East Wall. I got them to give me a theme every week for a poem, and I came back with the poem each week. And they were learning about bees for this particular week, and they very often tied things in just themselves with their own curriculum and what they were doing. So we had ancient Egypt and the pyramids and various other things they were learning about. But this week they were learning about bees, and I suppose it's very much ties in with all the climate things that you've been talking about, climate justice and all that kind of thing. So, but this just a bit of fun, and it's called Buzzin' with Our Cousins. And there's a chorus, so you can say it to yourselves if you want, because I know I can't hear you, which is, we're buzzing with our cousins by the double, triple dozens. We're the humble, not the bumble honeybees. So we're buzzing with our cousins by the double, triple dozens. We're the humble, not the bumble honeybees. Now you might think we bees with 3 sets of hairy knees make honey for your humans and your toast. You take our precious comb and use it in your home, but here's the buzz, it's we who need it most. While we're buzzing with our cousins by the double, triple dozens, we're the humble, not the bumble honeybees. Our buzzing is the vibe from the wings of all our tribe as we're foraging for food for hours and hours. To draw maps, our bodies dance, so our friends tell at a glance where we've come across the best and brightest flowers. While we're buzzing with our cousins by the double, triple dozens, we're the humble, not the bumble honeybees. When it's cold, we lose our luster, then we make a winter cluster, crowding in the center of our hive. The more it snows, the more we hug, so we keep our queen bee snug, because it's our job to keep the boss alive. While we're buzzing with our cousins by the double, triple dozens, we're the humble, not the bumble honeybees. If you're quiet and calm with me, I'll be gentle too, you see. But if you want to hurt me, here's the thing. I'm a worker, not a drone, so buzz off, leave me alone, or I'll make a beeline for you with my sting. While we're buzzing with our cousins by the double, triple dozens, we're the humble, not the bumble, honeybees. And that's the honeybee poem. So I think it's kind of a way of getting kids, teaching them a little bit about bees and having a little bit of fun as well.